Welcome to Wednesday, April 12th, 2023, your Day Weather Podcast, brought to you by Cowboy State Daily. Check them out at cowboystatedaily.com. Also being brought to you by YDOT. Call 511 or go to yoroad.info for the latest road and travel information. Well, folks, it's going to be another warm one. Boy, did it warm up yesterday across the region. But then we've got a cooling trend coming as we hit the end of the week. It's a typical April pattern. Warming up, cooling off. Warming up, cooling off. It's going to do that as we head into the next week or two. But certainly, everyone's been enjoying this warmer temperatures. And this warmer temperature pattern will continue through today and in some areas, many areas tomorrow. But even later tonight and into the day Thursday, the northern and western areas of the western United States will start to cool off. We'll see some showers today, especially in the west. Idaho, parts of northwest Utah, Montana, northwestern Wyoming, you're going to get into some showers. And there may be a few showers east of the divide, but we're talking about just light ones. Nothing really that'll add up to much. But this next disorganized system comes in Thursday and Saturday. It's kind of coming in a fractured state. We've seen a lot of that this spring. We've got a northern piece that'll go across the northern Rockies, a southern piece that'll go across the central Rockies as we get in between this Thursday through Saturday time frame. This is going to favor the northern areas. As we showed you yesterday, parts of the Pacific Northwest, parts of Montana, far northwestern and western Wyoming, going to see the most widespread precipitation in the form of rain and snow. Now, east of the divide, a little bit further south along the I-70, I-80, there will be showers and cooler temperatures, although the more concentrated moisture will definitely be up in the northern areas. A pretty good cooling trend through Saturday. Many areas yesterday, 80s, and we even had some 90s in the region. Well, we're going to be just 40s, lower 50s by Friday and Saturday. So it will be a pretty significant drop in temperature. However, temperatures are going to rebound. Starting on Sunday and into early next week, we'll have a nice warm up again. There's another storm system or some type of front coming in the middle of next week. The computer models are all over the place. Once we get beyond, let's say, Monday or Tuesday of next week, the models have no clue on what's going to happen with the weather. So we'll kind of take it one day at a time. But we can say that at least the trend towards the middle of next week is going to be the next chance of getting some cooler weather and some precipitation in the west. But we've got a lot of details to sort out. As the time of year that we're in, the transition phase, when you go from one season to the next, the modeling always has a very difficult time. And the next couple of weeks will certainly be challenging there. Now, we did have a volcano go up and go pretty high into the atmosphere, 12 miles into the atmosphere yesterday, out in the the northwest Pacific and Russia. And whether or not this was a pretty big explosion, question is this going to be causing any weather changes? With any volcanic eruption, you got to wait. You got to wait to see how long it lasts, how high it goes into the atmosphere, and if there's other eruptions. Now, these high latitude volcanoes can affect the weather just like the low latitude volcanoes do in the lower latitudes. Latitude's really important in terms of where the ash and the gases go with these volcanoes, whether or not they stay up, the ash stays up in the northern latitudes or stays down in the lower latitudes, depending on where these volcanoes go in terms of where they're placed latitude-wise and how high the ash and gases go into the stratosphere, if they make it into the stratosphere, those ash clouds. But you just can't have an eruption in a day or two be able to make any determination whether or not it's going to impact the weather. We just got to watch it in the coming days. But that's a large volcano, and we'll be watching it carefully. And we'll also be watching further activity out in that part of the world. This part of the world right here, full of volcanic activity, a lot of it. And so that can be an active region. We showed you this satellite photo yesterday. We're going to show it again today where there's still snow cover. This was taken late yesterday afternoon. So even after all the very, very warm weather, we still have some extensive areas of snow cover really showing up, especially in these two areas here. Now, in the Chinook zones, so to speak, you can see that it's snow-free, but we still got some snow on the ground up here in north central Wyoming and south central Montana. And we had talked about how the weather pattern and snow cover is really affected by the snow cover. Now, I want you to look really carefully. If you look here at the Missouri River in parts of South Dakota, north central South Dakota, if you look very carefully, there's still ice on the river here, north of Pierre. You get south of Pierre, the river's ice free. You get into northeastern South Dakota, and we have got a lot of snow cover still. A lot of snow cover. Then look at what the temperatures did yesterday over the snow cover. This is quite amazing. So here's the river. Here's temperatures in central South Dakota, 80s to near 90 degrees. Look at that. Look how warm it is. But look at the snowfield. In the snowfield areas, temperatures were in the 40s and 50s. So look at the contrast between here and temperatures just here due to that snow cover. It really makes a really big difference. But we'll continue to see these snowfields shrink a lot over the next couple of days. But even after these warm days, by the end of the week and the weekend, there's still going to be snow on the ground in some areas. Satellite photo this morning shows the swirl of clouds up here in the Pacific Northwest just off the coast. This is a little bit of moisture out ahead of the trough. This is why there may be a little bit of shower activity and instability out ahead of this trough today that may produce a few showers. Here's the trough coming in the northwest Oregon. This is by noon today. Strong southwest flow aloft continues to pump in some very warm air. And then these are the high temperatures by this afternoon. So you can still see the snow-covered areas up here are still cool in the snow-covered areas here, but very warm in the Chinook zone east of the divide, but cooling off across Montana. By tomorrow, notice by tomorrow, quite a bit colder in the Pacific Northwest and the Northern Rockies, still very warm east of the divide for another day. By tomorrow evening, this is by 6 p.m. Thursday, the trough settles in, but we've got a double-barreled trough, 2 cores to it. This is why it's coming in fractured and a little bit disorganized. But by Sunday morning, the trough is headed to the Great Lakes. High pressure builds in, so here's our next warm-up as warmer air comes up out of the deserts again. But we've got a big elongated low up here in the Gulf of Alaska, and this is where this weather, what happens with this weather is where all the question marks are next week. Temperatures by Friday cool off significantly. You can see the cold edge right there moving south into the region, directing the warmer air further out to the east. So it's going to cool off rather significantly by Friday and Saturday in most areas. This is the precipitation forecast through Saturday. You can see Montana, northwestern Wyoming, into areas of eastern Idaho, central and northern Idaho, going to see the heaviest precipitation. Scattered areas of showers elsewhere in the form of rain, snow, couple of thunderstorms. There's your snowfall forecast through Saturday, mainly the northern areas and mainly the mountains getting a little bit of spring snow. Temperatures on Saturday, pretty cool now. Temperatures cool off now even all the way down into the panhandles as this trough moves on by. Then next week, by next Tuesday, this next trough wants to come in. It basically breaks off from the main trough up here. Then we have another trough settling back. So there's going to be some form of weather coming in towards the middle of next week, but got to sort out the details whether or not it's going to be minor or something more significant. So stay tuned. Have yourself a great Wednesday. See you Thursday.